Now, let's talk about cell division. Okay, those cells that do enter cell division, there are really three types of, cell division that they can go through. The first type is known as binary fission. Binary means two, and fission means to split. So this literally means that they split in two, and this is the process that prokaryotes or bacteria use to divide, to basically reproduce. Okay? Now, there's some things about this that you need to understand. First of all, DNA is still copied, and the cell splits in half. Okay? You could kind of think of this as pretty much as close as you get to cloning, meaning you create an exact replica to the original cell. Now, the thing about binary fission that makes it really, fast is that there's no nucleus to break down or reform. These are bacteria or prokaryotes, and they don't have a nucleus. So it's very fast. All you have to do is copy the DNA and split the cell in half. Okay? So we would consider this to be simple. It's asexual because it just requires one parent. That one cell simply just divides into two cells. Okay, so very fast, very simple, and it's asexual. You get two clones of the original mama cell. Okay. Now, mitosis is the second type of cell division, and this occurs in eukaryotes, so organisms with a nucleus. You still copy DNA. Notice, same process here. You have to copy DNA first, but then we have a nucleus, and the nucleus must be divided. So mitosis is really described as the division of the nucleus. It's the idea that we have to get that nucleus divided. We have to create, from one nucleus, we need to create two nuclei. Okay, so if we have our cell with our nucleus, we need to essentially get a cell with two nuclei before we can split, because each of those new cells that we make needs to have its own nucleus. Okay, and the general use of mitosis, at least in multicellular organisms like us, is for growth and repair. Now, if you're a single-celled eukaryote, you might use it for replication or for reproduction, just like how bacteria use binary fission. But for multicellular organisms, we use it for growth and repair. Okay, and that brings us to our third type of cell division, meiosis. Also used by eukaryotes. DNA, once again, must be copied. So notice in all types of cell division, you have to copy the DNA first. But then the difference between meiosis and mitosis is that the final cells, the cells that we end up making, end up with half of the normal number of chromosomes. So this type of division not only replicates the cells, not only creates more cells, but it cuts the amount of DNA in half. Okay, so the final cells that we make that have half the number of normal chromosomes are known as gametes or reproductive cells. Common names for this would be things like sperm and egg. If we were talking about something like a plant, you could think of this as pollen and seed or ovum. Okay? So the idea is that you're going to create reproductive cells. And the reason why you have to cut the amount of genetic material in half is that a sperm is going to have half the number of chromosomes. An egg is going to have half the number of chromosomes. So when we put them together, half plus a half, you get a whole individual again. Okay, so meiosis is unique because what it does is it cuts our genetic material in half so that our offspring will have the same number of chromosomes as we do. Okay, and that brings us to the purpose of meiosis. Meiosis is strictly used for sexual reproduction. We're creating gametes so that we can sexually reproduce. So it's used by organisms that reproduce sexually. Okay. You're going to combine a male and a female gamete to produce a fertilized zygote. All right, so those are the three types of cell division. Binary fission, which is very simple. You have mitosis, which is almost binary fission, but with some extra. Basically, it's very similar to binary fission, except that we have to divide the nucleus. Okay, and then you have meiosis, which has the ability to cut the amount of genetic material in half so that you can create a sexually reproducing gamete.